The night is a ritual. The occult roots of nightlife culture. Preface. This book is not just about nightlife. It's about remembering what the night was always meant to be. Before there were clubs, there were circles. Before DJs, there were drummers. Before LED lights and lasers, there was fire. And before we called it fun, we called it ritual. This book was born from a simple realization. Modern nightlife is an echo of a distorted reflection of something ancient, sacred, and powerful. But like all reflections, its meaning has been flipped. What once elevated now distracts. What once aligned now numbs. Still, the structure remains. The rhythm, the trance, the costume, the space are all pieces of an old technology still running in the background. This book is not here to shame or romanticize. It's here to decode. To reveal the symbols you've been dancing inside of. To help you remember that ritual is not reserved for temples. Ritual is wherever you bring awareness, intention, and presence. So whether you're a DJ, a dancer, or just someone who feels like the music is trying to say something deeper, this book is for you. It doesn't tell you what to believe. It invites you to see what's already there. May this book serve as a mirror, not of your face, but of your frequency. Chapter 1. Baseline as bloodline. You feel it before you hear it. That's not just music, that's memory. There's a reason the beat hits first. Before lyrics, before melody, the drum was humanity's first language. It wasn't entertainment, it was communication, a code, a call, a key. In ancient villages across Africa, Haiti, Cuba, Brazil, the drum summoned spirits, opened dimensions, and aligned people with forces greater than themselves. Every rhythm had a purpose. It didn't just make you dance, it moved your soul into position. Now fast forward. The setting is different: neon lights, sound systems, and alcohol flowing. But the body still remembers. The subwoofer is the new talking drum. It vibrates through your chest, bypasses the mind, and awakens something deeper. This is ancestral technology hijacked by the nightlife industry, stripped of context, and sold back as fun. But the code wasn't deleted, it was disguised. The drum was never just a sound. In voodoo and Santeria, rhythms aren't generic, they're encoded invocations. Each orisha or lawa has a distinct rhythm pattern. When played correctly with the right intention, these beats become portals. They don't entertain, they summon. Bata drums in Santeria aren't played for fun. They're played to bring down the gods. Reda and Petro rhythms in Haitian Vodou aren't just percussive, they possess people. So when you're in a club, and the bass line drops so hard your body moves before your mind can catch up, ask yourself, what is being summoned? The DJ as the modern drummer. Ancient drummers were trained for years. They didn't just play. They channeled. They knew what beat to play, when to play it, and for which spirit. Now the DJ stands where the drummer once stood, but most don't even know the power they're holding. The booth is the altar, the decks are the ritual tools. And the playlist, a spellbook usually created by the algorithm. Still, some DJs feel it. They don't just play songs, they build a journey. They drop a rhythm that shifts the room. You've felt it before. One track changes the energy suddenly and everyone's moving together. One mind, one beat, one frequency. That's not a party, that's a ritual. The body knows what the mind forgot. Why do you close your eyes when the beat is right? Why do your hips move on their own? Why do people describe a high when the rhythm peaks? Because your nervous system remembers. The same patterns that called the gods in ancient temples are pulsing through modern nightclubs just out of context. And that's the whole point of this book. You're still part of the ritual. You just don't know what it's for anymore. Chapter 2. Spirits in the Flesh. They said dance like nobody's watching, but someone always is. In the sacred rites of voodoo and Santeria, the ultimate moment isn't the drum or the chant, it's possession. The practitioner dances until the spirit enters their body. Their eyes roll back. Their voices change. Movements shift. They are no longer themselves, they become a vessel. To the untrained eye, it looks like chaos, but to those who know, it's an order, a divine takeover. Now look at the club. Lights low, beat rising, people swaying like waves, bodies loose, faces blank, mouths open. One drink, two, maybe a pill. Then it happens, she changed. He snapped. They weren't acting like themselves. That's the moment the spirit enters, not a god. Though not Eligula or Igun. Something else, something unnamed. Maybe marketing, maybe lust. Maybe pain, but something takes hold. Nightlife trains people to invite possession without knowing it. The role of movement in spiritual traditions, every move meant something. You didn't just dance, you became the spirit through form. Yemaya sways like waves. Shango strikes with fire and power. Now, the body still moves, but the meaning has been stripped. What used to be sacred is now random. What used to invoke gods now invokes attention. But underneath the chaos, the ancient pattern remains. The crowd still sways, still responds to beat, call, rhythm, release. The spirit still enters, but the altar has changed, the gaze. Possession in Santeria is seen. It is public, but not for ego. It is evidence of connection. Now the dance floor is a stage. The smartphone is the witness. People get possessed, not to channel energy, but to harvest likes. Same format, different fuel. So when they say dance like nobody's watching, ask, who is watching and what are you inviting in? Because every movement is still a message. And something always answers. Chapter 3. The Alchemy of Escape. You call it fun, your soul calls it flight. Every ritual involves transformation. In voodoo and Santeria, it's about becoming more than your human self, emerging with something higher, something divine. In Nightlife, the transformation still happens, but the direction is different. It's not about becoming more, it's about becoming numb. Substances as sacrifice in ancient rites, offerings were real. Blood, rum, tobacco, animal life, all symbolic. You gave something valuable to gain something. Spiritual, now we give too, but not in spirit, we give it to the night. Time, money, energy, sobriety, sanity, sometimes even safety. People drink not to celebrate but to disappear. They smoke, sniff, or pop just to get away from the noise in their own head. They're not raising vibration, they're lowering resistance. Not ascension, sedation, the illusion of freedom. Nightlife sells freedom, be whoever you want. Dress however you like, do whatever you feel. But beneath that promise is a deeper trap. The music tells you when to feel hype. The crowd tells you when to cheer. The drink tells you when to loosen up. You think you're choosing, but you're being guided every second. The environment is engineered, the vibe is scripted, the outcome is predictable. Get lit, get loose, forget. It's ritualized forgetting. Energy can't be faked. In sacred rituals, transformation leaves you clearer, more aligned, more aware. It costs something real and gives back something deeper. But in the Nightlife ritual, you give up your presence, and what do you get? A few photos, a story you barely remember. A hangover. It's not that the night is evil. It's that it's misused magic. There's still alchemy at work, the shift in state, the transmutation of energy. But without awareness, the transformation becomes a loop. Work, escape, repeat. The true ritual was never about running away. It was about coming closer to what you are. And that's the piece Nightlife forgot. Chapter 4. Temple of Lights and Smoke. A church made of bass, a priesthood of chaos. Every sacred system has a space, a temple, a shrine, a sanctified ground. In voodoo and Santeria, these spaces are prepared with intention, cleansed, protected, structured. In nightlife, the temple is the club. The lights dim to set the mood. The fog rises like incense. The DJ booth glows like an altar. You don't notice it, but your body does. It knows. This is where the ritual happens. Ritual architecture. The elements are all there. Candles replaced by LED strobes. Sacred drums replaced by massive speakers. Spirit masks replaced by designer sunglasses and glitter. Altars replaced by bar counters. You're not leaving reality, you're stepping into an engineered zone that mimics sacred geometry. Everything is circular, pulsing, and immersive. Like a spiritual simulation programmed to hit your chakras, whether you believe in them or not. Smoke mirrors an illusion in ritual. Smoke is used to veil, to reveal, to protect. In clubs, fog machines do the same. They blur the sharp edges of consciousness. They make it easier to become someone else, or no one at all, and mirrors always present. Because what's a ritual without reflection? Even if it's a filtered selfie in the bathroom stall, symbols in disguise. Every good ritual has symbols, so does nightlife, but they've been commercialized. The wristband initiation. The VIP rope hierarchy. The dress code, costume for the god you're invoking. The bottle parade offering to the ego spirit. These aren't coincidences. These are unconscious. Rituals repeating themselves through culture. And if you enter that space without awareness, you are part of the script, not the author. The temple is still alive. The smoke still rises. The beat still summons. The only question is, what are you worshiping when you walk through that door? Because worship isn't always praise. Sometimes it's where your energy gathers. Chapter 5. The priest with a USB stick. Some DJs build temples, others just play noise. Once upon a time, the priest knew what frequencies to call. They didn't play for the crowd, they played for the gods. In Santeria, in voodoo, in mystery schools across. The world's sound was sacred. A bridge between realms. Now, that bridge is still being walked. Only most people don't know it. The DJ stands behind the booth like an oracle. The crowd stares forward like believers. The music builds, drops, breaks, and lifts like a sermon. With no words. But the difference is in the intention. Curator or channel. A priest knows what spirit is coming. A DJ knows what energy they're pushing. But here, the trap. Most DJs today are curators, not channels. They're reading data, not energy. They're following charts, not intuition. And the result, the ritual becomes hollow. It still moves the body, but it doesn't pierce the soul. Timing is a sacred ancient ritual with structure, precision, purpose. You don't summon Agun during a Yem-Ya ritual. You don't call lightning when the earth needs water. The best DJs still know this intuitively. They feel the pulse of the room and respond to it, not override it. They drop the right sound at the right moment, and the crowd becomes one being. That's not entertainment. That's frequency manipulation. That's shamanic leadership. And when done with awareness, it heals. When done blindly, it feeds the machine. Responsibility of the sound bearer. If the DJ is the priest, the booth is the altar, and the music is the spell, then what's being cast? Are you invoking unity, or just hype? Are you offering elevation, or just escape? Are you crafting a sacred space, or just another dopamine loop? Because the ritual still works, even if no one knows what they're doing. But when you do know, when you play with intention, with alignment, with awareness, the crowd feels it. And they may not know why. But something ancient stirs. Something remembers. Chapter 6. Fashion as frequency. Your outfit isn't just a look, it's a spell. Rituals have always involved costume. In Centuria, each Orisha has its own color, its own style. Worshippers wear white during initiation. Beaded necklaces are encoded with meaning. These aren't fashion choices, they're spiritual alignments. Now look at the club. The outfits are different, but the energy is the same. The body is adorned. The ego is amplified. The look is engineered to broadcast a signal. You're not just getting dressed, you're dressing your frequency. Clothes as identity technology. Fashion in nightlife is more than style, it's symbolism. All black, protection, mystery, power. Neon, attention, rebellion, electric energy. Designer logos, status, value, belonging to a tribe. Every piece is an energetic statement. Every fit is a subconscious prayer to be seen, feared, desired, or left alone. Just like in ritual, only now it's sold to you by brands instead of passed down through ceremony. The hidden codes, even accessories, have roots. Chains, binding or protection depending on how you wear them. Sunglasses at night, shielding the spirit. Hiding the gaze. Tattoos on display, sigils, declarations. Silent screams. The club becomes a runway of unconscious symbolism. People walk around broadcasting codes they don't even understand. But the energy still responds. Symbols don't wait for your belief. They work regardless, the ritual of getting ready. The transformation doesn't start at the venue. It starts hours before. The playlist while you dress. The mirror as an altar. The perfume is like holy oil. You stand before your reflection and ask silently, who do I want to become tonight? And then you build that version, piece by piece, thread by thread, like a modern-day priest preparing. For invocation, you're not just going out, you're casting your avatar. So the next time you put on that outfit, pause. Ask yourself, what am I invoking? What energy am I dressed to attract? Because fashion is more than fabric. It's frequency armor. And what you wear speaks before you do. Chapter 7. From Power to Program. They didn't kill the ritual. They just made it profitable. What once was sacred is now packaged. What once was spirit is now spectacle. The ritual didn't vanish. It got digitized, branded, and dropped into the algorithm. Welcome to the age of ritual as content. The hijack of the sacred nightlife used to be rebellion. Underground clubs were temples of expression, resistance, and unity. But now the beat is predictable, the fashion is copied. The energy is managed by lights, apps, playlists, and brand deals. What was once a spiritual tool became a marketing funnel. It's not wrong, it's just empty. Because the machine doesn't care about transformation. It only wants engagement, algorithmic possession. Music used to call gods, now it calls views. DJs play what streams well, clubs book what sells. People dance to what trends. And slowly, the ritual becomes a program. You show up, you move a certain way, you capture it. You leave, repeat next weekend. No memory, no mystery, just data. This is not a conspiracy, it's a conversion. The sacred has been converted into commerce. And most never notice. Why it matters when ritual loses its soul, people feel it. They start craving something deeper. That's why wellness retreats, ayahuasca journeys, and breathwork circles are rising while clubs are losing their magic. People want real connection, real energy, real transformation. But they keep showing up to artificial temples hopping. To feel the divine. It's not the crowd's fault, it's the system's design. The choice. Here's the secret. The ritual still works, but only if you bring back intention. The lights, the beat, the space, they're just tools. It's your awareness that makes them sacred. You can choose. Be a follower of the program, or become a reclaimer of the ritual. Because once you see it, once you remember, you stop dancing for the algorithm and start moving with the gods again. Conclusion. Remembering the ritual. The beat never left, you just stopped listening. This was never about blaming the club, or praising the past, or demonizing pleasure. This was about revealing the pattern, the blueprint beneath the nightlife, the ritual hiding in plain sight. Because every Friday night, millions gather in the dark. They put on their symbols. They step into the temple. They offer time, money, and energy. They move, they lose themselves, they connect. But they don't know why. Awareness is the access code. Once you know it's a ritual, you change your role. You're no longer just a consumer. You're a participant with power. You can choose to align with higher energy, to bring intention into your movements, to remember what your ancestors already knew. This doesn't mean stop partying. It means stop sleepwalking through it. Wake up inside the ritual, bring your spirit with you, and the night becomes holy again. Final invocation to the dancers, the DJs, the dreamers, to the ones who feel there's more than just bass and bottle service, to the souls aching for the sacred in a world gone synthetic. You were never here just to escape. You came to activate it. So go back into the night. But this time, know what you're carrying. The rhythm isn't entertainment, it's remembrance.